أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي Amin Ya Rabbal Alameen. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing good and are ready for the practice session for the plurals of feminine and masculine asma. This is what we have been studying for the past few days. It's the Jama and the Musanna derivatives of Asma. Alright, so without any further delay, let's begin our practice. This little chart here summarizes all the rules and all the suffixes that are required for making the Musanna and the Jama Salim derivatives of various Asmas, or rather Asma. Okay, so let's just have a sneak peek at them and then we can begin. Alright, so an ism can either be wahid, singular, can be two in number, musanna, or can be more than two in number, which is jama. Jama salim is the plural which is formed by adding a suffix to an intact skeleton of the ism. Alright, so salim means intact, it roughly translates to intact. Then we have jama mukassir, which is formed after some skeletal rearrangement or makeover that leads to the formation of jama mukassir. Okay, now we still have to do jama mukassir. It's just a couple of patterns, but we have completed the musanna and jama salim. Let's just look at the suffixes for each of these. So a masculine ism gets its musanna form by the addition of suffixes such as ani or aini. Ani is for rafa, aini is for nasab or jar. Alright, and then feminine asma are formed, their musanna is formed by adding either the suffix of tani or taini. Again, tani is for rafa and taini is for nasab or jar. Next, jama salim. The masculine ones are formed by the suffix of una or ina. Alright, so muslimuna, for example, and muslimina. Muslimuna, this una is for rafa, and ina is for nasab or jar. Alright, finally, atun is the suffix for feminine jama salim, and atin is the suffix for nasab or jar jama salim, feminine. Alright, this is what we have to practice now. We have learned each of these individually, and now we have to we have to practice these in a particular order. Now this table here summarizes all of what we have studied so far, and all these derivatives and how they're arranged. It's what's called declension. Alright, so declension simply means, you can look it up in dictionary as well, it simply means that a particular derivative or a particular pattern with the help of a suffix or a prefix is allotted for any particular ism. Alright, so for example, if it's the speaker, then he has a particular suffix or a pattern allotted to him. Similarly, if there are two speakers, then what is the specific pattern for that, and then so on. Alright, so all this is called declension. And it's not only Arabic that has it, it is also present in Persian and a couple of other languages as well. Alright, so this is declension, alright, which is summarized in this table here. This is for the plurals, okay, for the musanna and your jama salim. Alright, so this is what is declension when it comes to plurals. So we are going to start off with our practice now. Alright, let's just label it first so that you can pick it up easily. This first row is for wahid or singular. It is all singular, then, and of course masculine. Then we have this second row which is for musanna. Alright, so it is for 2p. And then mu'allimuna, this is the third row for jama salim, right? Similarly, this green one is for your feminine counterpart as evident from this sign. Similarly, musanna and then jama salim. Then in the next block, we are going to make it mu'arraf bil lam, alright, by adding the prefix of alif lam al, and then once again musanna and its jama salim. Alright, now this is all masculine, alright, and then finally the feminine mu'arraf bil lam form, first singular, then musanna, and finally jama salim. Alright, so that's how we have to practice this declension in terms of uh, plural asma. Alright, so let's begin. So we have muallimun, mualliman, muallimin. Muallim means a male teacher. Muallimani, two male teachers. Muallimaini, same translation, muallimaini. Muallimuna, male teachers. Muallimina, muallimina. Then convert this muallimun to its feminine counterpart, which is muallimatun. How did we get here? We got here by, let's take a break because we have azan in my area. Alright, so we have the word muallimatun. How did we get here? We simply replaced the tanween of this last root letter with a fatha, and then we added a round ta with appropriate tanween or harkat. Alright, so that's how it is formed. Alright, so we discussed this formation of feminine counterparts from their masculine counterparts in lesson 7b. Alright, so if you have missed it, I would really encourage you to go back and watch this lesson so that you can understand it completely, inshallah. Alright, so mu'allimatun, singular or wahid, feminine teacher. Then mu'allimatan, same translation but in nasab form. Mu'allimatin, jar form. Then we have the musanna, mu'allimatani, mu'allimataini, mu'allimataini, mu'allimatun, mu'allimatin, mu'allimatin. Notice how I have prolonged this atun and atin sounds over here. But I'm not prolonging this over here because I don't need to. Alright, so we have mu'allimatun and mu'allimatun. Alright, be very, very, very vigilant of this difference, of this sound difference. Because obviously, as you can see, there is a huge difference between mu'allimatun and mu'allimatun. One feminine teacher and feminine teachers. Huge difference. Alright, next we have made it mu'arraf bil lam. So al-mu'allimu, al-mu'allima, al-mu'allimi. Make it musanna, al-mu'allimani, al-mu'allimaini, al-mu'allimaini. Finally, the jama salim, al-mu'allimuna, al-mu'allimina, al-mu'allimina. Alright, the male teachers, the male teachers, the male teachers. Finally, its feminine counterpart, al-mu'allimatu, al-mu'allimata, al-mu'allimati, al-mu'allimatani, al-mu'allimataini, al-mu'allimataini, al-mu'allimatu, al-mu'allimati, al-mu'allimati. Next example is munzirun, a warner, or rather a warning, a male warner. So we have munzirun, munziran, munzirin, munzirani, munziraini, munziraini, munziruna, munzirina, munzirina, munziratun, munziratan, munziratin, munziratani, munzirataini, munzirataini. I am not translating all these on purpose, alright, because by now you should be able to identify which part of the declension we are currently practicing. Okay, so that's why I'm not voicing it all out. I'm not verbalizing it. So munziratun, munziratin, munziratin, al-munziru, al-munzira, al-munziri, al-munzirani, al-munziraini, al-munziraini, al-munziruna, al-munzirina, al-munzirina. Finally, al-munziratu, al-munzirata, al-munzirati, al-munziratani, al-munzirataini, al-munzirataini, Al-munziratu, al-munzirati, al-munzirati. Alright, let's look at our next example. Hasidun. Alright, now I would want you to pause this video and first complete this declension yourself. Alright, and once you have done that, then come back and listen to it, alright, and see if you have made any mistakes. So Hasidun is someone who is envious, alright, one who envies. Hasidun, hasidan, hasidin, hasidani, hasidaini, hasidaini, hasiduna, hasidina, hasidina. Then hasidatun, hasidatan, hasidatin, hasidatani, hasidataini, hasidataini, hasidatun, hasidatin, hasidatin, al-hasidu, al-hasida, al-hasidi, al-hasidani, al-hasidaini, al-hasidaini, al-hasiduna, al-hasidina, al-hasidina, al-hasidatu, al-hasidata, al-hasidati, al-hasidatani, al-hasidataini, al-hasidataini, al-hasidatu, al-hasidati, al-hasidati. I hope you were all correct in all the derivatives. Finally, Kazibun, one who speaks lies. Kazibun, Kaziban, Kazibin, Kazibani, Kazibaini, Kazibaini, Kazibuna, Kazibina, Kazibina, Kazibatun, Kazibatan, Kazibatin, Kazibatani, Kazibataini, Kazibataini, Kazibatun, Kazibatin, Kazibatin. I am going fast on purpose, alright, and I hope that you can also reach this speed, inshallah. Al-Kazibu, Al-Kaziba, Al-Kazibi, Al-Kazibani, Al-Kazibaini, Al-Kazibaini, Al-Kazibuna, Al-Kazibina, Al-Kazibina, Al-Kazibatu, Al-Kazibata, Al-Kazibati, Al-Kazibatani, Al-Kazibataini, Al-Kazibataini, Al-Kazibatu, Al-Kazibati, Al-Kazibati. Next and final example. Baitun, a house. Then we have Baitan, a house in Nasab, Baitin, Baitani, two houses, Baitaini, two houses, Baitaini. Not Baituna, not Baitina, and not Baitina. Similarly, Al-Baitu, Al-Baita, Al-Baiti, Al-Baitani, Al-Baitaini, Al-Baitaini, but not Al-Baituna, not Al-Baitina, and not Al-Baitina. Why is it? Because this buyutun that you see here is actually a Jama Mukassir. Okay, we are going to touch this subject where it's only a couple of patterns, alright, that we need to know so that we can identify if it is Jama Salim or Jama Mukassir. Well, we can identify Jama Salim now, but when it comes to Jama Mukassir, there are loads of patterns in for various meanings, alright, and Jama Mukassir has about 30 of them, and we are already familiar with them, alright, so there's nothing to worry about. So Buyutun is one of the patterns of Jama Mukassir. Well, most of your inanimate objects have Jama Mukassir and not Jama Salim. One of the exceptions is Jannatun, alright, because Jannatun is a garden and Jannatun, as we already know, is the feminine Jama Salim. Alright, so similarly we have many other examples. Or rather, I should say, there are many other exceptions, all right, in which the inanimate object has Jama Salim, Jama Salim plural, all right. So there are a few exceptions, all right, but nevertheless they are there, so you should be aware of them. Okay, it's not, and nothing is absolute in Arabic. All right, so this buyutun here is your Jama Mukassir. Alright, then we have Buyutan and Buyutin. You can also see that this pattern carries a tanween. Alright, so a tanween is never the indicator of singularity, okay? Because there are many other patterns in Jama Mukassir, and even in Jama Salim, the Atun, Atin, Atin suffixes have tanween. Okay, so when it comes to tanween, it only signifies that and ism is nakra. All right, it has nothing to do with singularity. Okay, so note this point. So buyutun, buyutan, buyutin, and al buyutu, al buyuta, al buyuti. Houses, 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 the houses, the houses, the houses. All right, so with this we can stop our session, our practice session on the plurals, where we practice the musanna and jama salim. And inshallah, in the next lesson, we are going to start off with jama mukassir, all right, and ism analysis, which is very important, and it is what is going to tie our concepts with the upcoming lessons, inshallah, all right. So in the meantime, guys, practice this declension really, 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 really well, all right, because it is very important. Okay, so until next lesson, inshallah. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al Hakim, and I'll see you then, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.